Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of The Letter. Last time we left off finding out a bit about Isabella's family and finding out that we're now rolling in dough that she's going to give away to her family because they need it. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it.
I don't think my apartment's big enough for that.
You could always move? Bloody hell, you're working in real estate.
I think I'll pass. That's too much of an unnecessary expense for me. But I did promise Becca free lunch in case the sale goes well.
You go do that. Hold on a sec.
She quickly removes herself from me to answer the phone on her desk. Her tone shifts from playful to professional in the span of a few seconds.
Today? Not a problem, ma'am. I could bring you a copy of the contract if...
Must be another client. Nothing surprising there. She's one of BRC's top agents, no matter how modest she appears. A saleswoman through and through. I, on the other hand, have very little knack for it. Of course, I learned, eventually. I had to. But someone else will, without a doubt, do a better job. Once, though, in a drunken stupor, Rose told me a story of what could have been. Years ago, wide-eyed, young, and brimming with yet-to-be-fulfilled dreams and ambitions, she was a term or two away from a nursing degree. Out of courtesy, I never pressed on the matter. But perhaps it's where the sense of fondness started. A small connection due to one similar experience in our respective lives, of goals we both let pass us because of the circumstances we're in.
I'd be happy to discuss this over tea, ma'am. All right, I'll be there. Thank you.
New client?
Reassigned. Have you heard from Mark at all?
Not since the first visit to the mansion.
The letter.
Why?
None at all. Boss thinks he ran away.
I skipped over that by accident. I am so sorry. Basically, it's just saying no word from HR yet.
I doubt it, though. He's too much of a wimp for that. There must be another reason. Who knows? Anyway, I've got to meet this one. I'll see you later.
She throws a wave over her shoulder as she rushes out the office. The lunchtime bell sounds shortly after, followed by the chatter of fellow agents also heading out for a much-needed break. Ordinarily, there's no need for me to go out, but oversleeping didn't allow me the luxury of packing my own lunch today. If one considers taking an instant noodle cup from my pantry packing your lunch. Time to make good on the promise I made to Becca, I suppose. Maybe invite Zach and Ash too? In the end, only Becca and Zach could come. Ash, on the other hand, couldn't be reached. All my calls went straight to his voicemail. He's at it again. Right here today, gone the next. Oh well, his loss. We've agreed to meet at a nearby cafe. The same one I frequent with Becca because it's cheap and they give away free bread around closing time. Quaint, a little old-fashioned, though looks a wee bit out of place amidst the city's tall buildings, but we love it all the same. Much like its facade, the interior carries an antique charm to it. Vintage art pieces and a row of shelves bolstering an extensive collection of book covers to wall. It would have been a nice place to hang out for hours on end, but even on a weekend, the place is still packed with people. Thankfully, Becca and Zach have already found seats and are engaged in some casual chatter when I arrive. It's strange seeing the two of them without Ash accompanying the other. They've never been particularly close. Sure, they talk when they meet, laugh at the same things when there's something funny, but their distance? The kind born purely out of different interests? That, or Zach's simply afraid of Becca. It's not impossible, and I won't blame him if he is. He might be the tallest of our group, but everyone knows it means nothing against Becca's temper. Even I am a little scared of her.
Zach! Becca!
Well, you seem to be in a better mood today. What happened? I know that smile, Belle. Come on, still.
Don't rush me. Let's order food first, okay?
a waitress comes by to take our order. On a normal day, me and Becca will order a healthy serving of the special vegetarian stories. Zach takes anything with a good helping of meat, sausages, or potatoes in it. But today is a good day. Great even. It's not wrong to indulge a little, right?
Today's special. For the three of us.
Even the person jotting down her order looks surprised at today's meal choice. She writes it, nevertheless, and leaves without a comment. Becca frowns her eyebrows, her mouth halfway open, ready to let loose what's likely a string of reprimands.
Don't worry, it's my treat.
The glass she sends my way reminds me of the one I received from Mama when I punched a kid bullying my younger brother 18 years ago. Naturally, I never did it again after she made me apologize the next day. But Becca's far from being my mum. A small, sheepish grin is enough to turn that frown into a defeated sigh. Food arrives in the middle of a funny story from Zach, putting the rest of the conversation on hold as we each served our order. It isn't anything fancy. Ooh, that looks nice. Pan-roasted sea bass with citrus-dressed asparagus and a portion of mashed potatoes on the side. Or at least, that's what the daily special board says. It looks beautiful. I never did pay any attention to it whenever I come here, since they price whatever's written way above what I'm willing to spend on food on a single day.
Oh, good. I'm so hungry, I think I'm dying.
You're always hungry.
Hey, not all the time.
Let me guess. You skipped breakfast again.
Not on purpose. I may have overslept by a few seconds today.
Right then. Stop stalling, Isabella. What's this about?
Let us say it, Rebecca. She wouldn't be inviting us out if it wasn't worth hearing out.
Well, we're waiting.
I'm treating you guys to a once-in-a-century thing.
An expectant grin breaks out on my face, except
I'm sorry, say that again.
And this is important because...
Becca only raises an eyebrow at me, while Zach appears like he didn't get the punchline to another lame joke Ash made, and is desperately searching for someone to explain it. Oh, bummer. Maybe I should rephrase it. Ash is not here, so we should celebrate all the way.
Okay, let me do that again. We should celebrate because Ash Hole is totally missing out on my first treat ever.
I'm sure Ash has his reasons.
He hasn't even apologized for calling me a scaredy cat yesterday.
A half-hearted complaint without any meaning to it. Done more out of habit than with any real malice or hatred to it. After all the times he's called me a scaredy cat, the word itself has completely lost its meaning. Imagine that. There's disappointment, of course, in knowing he's off who knows where while we're having fun here. Sheesh, don't just disappear off the face of the planet without telling anyone.
You aren't really upset about that, are you?
No, not really. But it's his loss for missing this once-in-a-century event.
He did seem to be in a hurry when we parted last night after the movie. Said he got a big lead on his case.
Oh, yeah, he mentioned that. But you know how he is about his work. Everything except his unholy love for bad puns is a secret.
He never mentioned those to me.
I ain't surprised. He's more tight-lipped with this one. Something about it being bigger than what they usually let him handle.
Ooh.
Don't worry, Becca. I'll make him talk.
It's not necessary. He'll talk when he wants. And if what Zach says is true, it's better if we keep our noses out of this. His job isn't exactly a walk in the park. We'll only get in the way if we pester him about it.
Well, he better treat us to something other than ice cream once he solves that one. That's Scrooge.
But that's not really why you asked us out, right?
She gestures at the food with her hand, as though it's something she's not willing to touch until I give her
I
answers.
promised I'd treat you to a free lunch if the mansion got sold, yeah?
Understanding dawns on her face. The look she's been sporting changes into something close to delight.
You should have just told us. No need for all this fancy, secrety stuff.
It was supposed to be a surprise. I made a promise, didn't I?
Hey, a surprise is nice.
I wasn't expecting you'd really do it.
Well, it's already here. If you don't want to eat it, I'll just...
I begin to gather their plates to my side, the food in each still untouched. A laugh almost escapes my mouth with the way Zach's expression quickly changes to disappointment. Becca's hand interrupts me just as I'm about to pull her plate closer to me.
No, please leave it, ma'am. We're simply humbled by your utmost generosity, considering you're as much of a Scrooge as Ashton.
Don't compare me to him. He's the one who looks like he's about to have an episode whenever he has to spend more than £5.
I honestly wish there's a way for you to see the look on your face when you haggle. Reminded me to record it once. I think it's something like this.
She puffs her cheeks and furrows her eyebrows in an imitation of how I supposedly appear. I don't look like that at all. Do I? She drops the act at the flat look I shoot her. Her laugh dies, but the playful gleam in her eyes remains.
This means you're gonna be okay now, yeah?
No more noodles!
For a while. It just means we won't have to worry about paying for the treatment and the bills. But that's all that matters, right? I mean, we're not yet sure if the new medication will produce better results, but Mama and the doctor said Papa's responding well to the treatment. That's one reason to be hopeful.
Always.
And with the money, I'm sure it's just a matter of time.
Fingers crossed. Saying it this way sounds as if I'm trying to convince myself. But no matter what, I allow myself to smile, genuine and uninhibited. It's strange talking about this with other people, even those who have known you long enough. But today, things simply feel a whole lot lighter with them here. Lunch passes in an enjoyable fashion. A laugh here, a playful jab there, but most of it is spent on catching up and telling stories about whatever's keeping us busy these days. Something we couldn't afford to do the day before, taking into account what happened. Even Becca's surprisingly chatty. Is there something in the sea bass we ate? Zach, though, appears less energetic. While he's far from being the life of the party, he's definitely not the type to keep quiet in a conversation with his friends. Apart from a few inputs, he's been silent the entire time. If Becca notices...
Are you sure you're not feeling under the weather, Zachary?
Huh? No, I'm okay. No worries, Rebecca.
Doesn't sound okay to me.
Teaming up on the guy.
It's okay. I might be feeling a little bummed out today, but I'm sure this will pass.
Is it about the reviews this morning?
A pained expression crosses Zach's face, and almost immediately, Becca retreats in her inquiry, as though the man's look is enough of an answer for her question. I look between the two of them. Did I miss something? What happened this morning? Did I stumble on a big secret? This is why I don't like waking up late.
You heard about those, huh?
Sorry, I just happened to check on some sites this morning.
Nah, it's a very sensitive topic in the first place. I should have expected it.
What reviews?
Becca glances at Zach, emotions unsure, eyes asking for his consent on the matter. Although there's a small desire to keep asking on my part, I don't dare voice it out. With Zach, it has always been better to wait, let him speak on his own. Becca too, to some extent, although with her, explosions of temper are more common. In the end, he simply answers with a shift of his shoulders, gesturing for her to go on with a tilt of his head.
It's his movie.
That doesn't explain anything. Stop dangling the information, Becca!
Zachary, I'm not the one supposed to be telling her about this. It's still your documentary.
Is it something bad?
Not bad per se. You guys don't need to dwell on it much.
Bad? Listen here. I wouldn't trivialize what those bowheads wrote if I were you. They're ruining other people's jobs.
From how her tone raises in anger, it seems she's the one slighted and not Zach. A snicker escapes me, which I promptly stamp down on as soon as she sends me a hard look.
This isn't a laughing matter, Isabella. Some bowbag just insulted him.
Calm down, Rebecca. Those are just reviews, and it happens a lot.
I do not ken about you two, but calling the entire film an out-and-out drivel, you're better off watching an educational kids' TV show, and worst 1.5 hour of my life, among other things, isn't exactly a critique any decent movie reviewer would say. If you could call that a critique, did we even watch the same film?
Becca, chill before you kill us all.
Well, maybe I ain't cut out for it. Better stick with my photography or something. If nothing else, this helped me open my eyes to what I can and can't do.
You're giving up.
It wasn't a question.
It was just something experimental I did on my free time anyway. It's no big deal.
But you worked on it for months.
Doesn't look like it matters for those people.
Don't say that!
My palm strikes the table, sending the tableware on a top clink against each other. I didn't even notice when I rose from my seat. But here I am, chest heaving, looking down at him in the same manner a teacher would at an unruly student. Becca's probably proud. I didn't mean to yell, but there are some things people like Zach aren't supposed to say. How exasperating. He, of all people, should know.
It's just a review.
Except they're pretty well-known critics.
Why does that matter? They aren't the ones calling the shots on this. Isn't that why they have a committee? Right, Becca?
An amused gleam is in her eyes when I turn to her. What does she find so entertaining here? Help me here. Your friend's about to quit his passion for a petty reason. I haven't read what those people wrote about his work, but a few scathing words shouldn't be enough to discourage someone. I should know. After all, I'm...
Failing means you're playing, Zach. Not that I'm saying it's bad. I've seen it from start to finish, and I know for myself what you created isn't something people should scoff at. I don't know anything about filming or photography. Hell, I don't have an inkling of artistry in me except for those doodles I make for class. But I know what I watched. Look at Isabella. It's not every day you see her all riled up like this.
Whatever I'm about to say gets lost in my tongue as a flourish of embarrassment blooms across my face. And that, everyone, is where I'm going to be leaving it for today. Thank you so very much for watching this series. It is meaning the world to me. If you're enjoying it, put in a like. It means so much. If you've got any games you'd like me to play that are horror games, whack them in the comments. I will have a look at them and I will definitely try and get to play them. And if you want to keep up to date with everything that I'm doing, either the letter, horror games that I'll be playing in the future, or even the killer concepts that I've been doing for Dead by Daylight, hit the subscribe button. And if you ding the bell, it'll tell you every time that I post. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next time. Cerberus, wow, he feels driven. Ow!